on the money and abundance side, I guess I've always had a bit of a weird relationship with it, in terms of I've always I carried a bit of guilt around it. And this is something that I'm working on at the minute, specifically around the idea of coaching, and what you were saying before about undervaluing and overvaluing your what you do and all these sorts of things. It's something I'm really battling with at the minute, in terms of carrying guilt around coaching and charging for it, because I got into this to help people, and I understand that coaching is expensive. But also you've got to be realistic, in the sense that you by helping everyone, I don't exactly know how to put it, but by trying to help everyone, you're doing yourself a disservice in a way, because you're trying to spread yourself too thin. So it's something that I've always kind of carried a bit of guilt with, and it's why I've always, I guess, held off of going like full in on the coaching, to be honest. But also because my family come from quite a, I'm from a privileged background, really. I'm a middle class white male from London. It's like you get more
the optimum.
Privileged than that in the UK, at least in Europe. So I've always had a bit of a weird relationship with like wanting to be seen to trying to earn lots of money, because I don't really agree with certain mindsets around that. So this is something I'm really having some coaching on at the minute, specific to coaching as well, which is quite nice. The two tie together.
Can I share a breakthrough that I had with you? So this was from me being someone who wanted coaching last year. And when I think, I mean, I don't know if this is a lot or not for what you're looking at, but it was £1,000 for a month. And I was actually, at the start, I took so much pleasure in spending that on myself and seeing that as a self-investment. And I don't know if that's like would be undercharging for you, or if it felt just right, or whatever. I guess it depends on the service. But I feel like if you can reframe it that someone would be so excited to spend that on your services, it kind of takes the guilt away. And my other friend, who's an animal healer, I think she said she charges like $8,000 for a couple of weeks of her course. And I was like, whoa, I would feel really uncomfortable charging that. And she said, but you need to make sure you are fully cared for. How can you step up in a role to serve if you haven't got all of your rent covered and all of your services paid for, gym membership, all the organic food that you want, and make sure you're really looking after yourself, because you need to be full before you serve. And that was another mindset shift for me. I was like, whoa, she's right. That's totally spot on. But at the same time, I understand we want to give. We're givers. You don't want anyone to miss out. So does it ever come up for you that people can't afford it and that's a block, or is it more just that sticky feeling, like you said, of the privilege?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's understanding, like I said, coaching is expensive, right? Especially like for me, what I've come to realize is, much like what you just said, is by working with a handful of people who fit really well in terms of what I coach and how I coach, and can and do have the luxury, as it were, of being able to afford a higher fee, ultimately means that I'm sorting myself out from a financial point of view, which then means I'm also sorting myself out from a time point of view, which then also means that I can then serve, through the podcast, through other coaching means like group coaching, like the community program that I've just started, all of these other means. And that's by, focusing on actually who are the handful of people who can have access to that 6-month program, or whatever it is, 3-month program, because not everyone can. And that's something I've had to come to terms with. I've been very fortunate that in the last couple of years I've been able to afford to pay for coaching, because I've done some really great work that's paid quite well. And it's me obviously seeing that and going like, oof, that's a lot of money for what you get out of it. But ultimately, like you said, if someone's willing to put in that work and make that commitment, the figure of money is just, that's it. It's just a sign of how committed they are. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's about,
it's the energy exchange.
Exactly. So it's about, it's flipping it that way. I'm still very much going through it, to be honest. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm having coaching on it at the minute, which is really super helpful. But yes, it's always been an interesting relationship for me, because it's like the question of undervaluing, overvaluing, am I, do I want people to judge me based on how much I say my fees are, all these sorts of things. So it's like,
It's a juicy subject because it's not just pricing, it's so much more.
And also when sorry to cut you off, but when you're
No.
when you're going down a more spiritual path, you know, like people like Krishnamurti, like the Dalai Lama, like, you know, Muji, all these people, it's like money's not an interest to them. So that it also becomes a bit of a battle there. And that's why I kind of, you know, probably shouldn't, but I do outwardly judge a few like of the big kind of, you know, spiritual teachers of our age in a way. You know, like
the ones that you mean.
Yeah, like the ones who have like podcasts and they do all these things, and then you sign up to their, you know, like a newsletter or something, and straight away they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I thought you were a spiritual leader. I thought you were a spiritual teacher, not trying to make money out of me. So I see things from that point of view. And like I said, probably I'm judging them based on my own expectations, which is wrong. But that's because I judge like that in ways, I assume that other people will do the same. So it's a for me, it's probably the most difficult relationship I have with myself, is that of money and abundance.
I see. It's so funny because I'm on Lucy Sheridan's course at the moment, and today it was all about this. Literally all about pricing. It's everyone was so uncomfortable, and I was there like cleaning at the same time, so I didn't have to be present with it.